December 2015 was lit for some Namibians. Damn! Just reading about some of the pings that some people got in their bank accounts lets me know that December, hey, it was boss for some Namibians. I mean, check this out. I don't know how we have all come to accept the status quo. I mean, our civil liberties have just been controlled, alt, deleted, and we're just out here waiting on May 4th in the hopes that this lockdown will come to an end. But Namibia's scandals are not in quarantine. Recently, the Law Society made headlines requesting an investigation into lawyer Sisa Namanje's financial affairs following allegations made in the Al Jazeera documentary Anatomy of a Bribe, which blew the lid on the illegal dealings of our leaders. I asked the director of the African Labour and Human Rights Center, August Maletsky, to share his views on this case brought forward by the Law Society.
We must appreciate the fact that, yes, there was a report of money laundering. We are all aggrieved by the Fish Rod saga. But that's what the reporters are there to do. They are there to report on cases. They are there to tell us of irregularities that took place. But that's not evidence. Have you ever heard of a journalist that was called to court to give evidence about the report that he or she has written? Nope. Court cases are conducted on the basis of evidence. And with respect, the Fish Rod saga is a report that was issued, one that was over-politicized and does not amount to evidence in a court of law. Yes, it creates the basis for legal investigations to be conducted by appropriately authorized powers and of agencies to do so. In this case, the Law Society is clearly outside the ambit of the statute that created it and that authorizes it to act against Mr. Sisa Namanje and company.
Whilst the rest of us were quarantining in our homes, the SWAPO party celebrated its 60th birthday, eliciting some resentment. Activist Job Amubanda posted this clip online.
I'm sending this message under serious circumstances. When the COVID-19 state of emergency related declaration was announced, we supported that initiative because we understood what it means. Despite the events later that come, such as the 400 people inaugurated, who came to this inauguration. So we still thought that's human error. It could be understood. Maybe people, when they're drunk with power, they can do whatever they want to do. But then we saw a lot of changes that are happening, such as the alcohol, the zigzagging on alcohol to accommodate white monopoly capital. We were informed reliably, and we also announced it previously, that they have been putting a lot of pressure on government. So we still being, it is after that event that we began to be very disturbed about it. So yesterday, SWAPO had their birthday, and they were definitely, they clearly violated the lockdown regulation. Disturbingly, there was an announcement that veteran Ben Amadira traveled from his farm. So we don't know what permission that he got to travel in order to come and cut the cake. Young people are being arrested when they are having parties in their homes. So these guys are not taking us seriously. So this it shows that they just want everybody else to be at home while they can do whatever they want to do. They're not taking this pandemic seriously. So we want to send a serious message, a serious warning to the politicians that don't take us for a ride. We're not idiots. We're not complying because we are afraid of any of you. So if you want chaos, you are going to get chaos. Let's all abide by lockdown regulation. Any further violation of lockdown regulation will be violated by everybody else. So you can arrest and do whatever you want to do, but you must take us seriously. Ndilimani Cultural Troop alone is more than 10 people. How do you hold a meeting, a private, if it's a government event can be understood, a political party, a private event, yeah, placing the risk of the lives of everyone at risk. So who do you think you are? So this is a warning to all those politicians to take us seriously.
Some members of opposition parties laid cases against the ruling party for violating lockdown rules. Nampol's Inspector General Sebastian Letunga gave an interview on the matter.
I was informed because I engaged the Secretary General And that hall where they were, I'm informed that it has got a capacity of 300 plus people. Meaning that even if you put more people there and you comply with the social distance, there will be enough spaces between or among those people. When the people are having a meeting or whatever discussion inside, unless you are violating like noise pollution or consuming alcohol, and you are making noise in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood will tell us and they will complain, immediately we have to act. But when people are having a meeting, like let me say they have got a political party, they have got their meeting of 10 or 15, as long as there is a space, they don't alert the police. They will have their meeting. Remember, the lockdown still have a room for people who are going to work and the people who are going to have their meeting. And they don't come to the police and say, police, we are going to have our meeting there. We just say, as long as they maintain their meetings or whatever gathering is within the framework of the regulations.
The matter, however, is now subject to investigations following charges laid by the opposition parties.
Hence, I don't want to preempt the evidence that might be collected, and I would just love to say this is what I was informed. I followed it up when my office was inundated with the questions and the complaints, and I informed some of the callers that they should not put or they should not preempt the result of possible investigation.
Fellow Namibians, in the past few weeks, our country has witnessed an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases recorded. This points to what many have called the start of a second wave of COVID-19 in Namibia. Therefore, those of us that are going to travel, if it is necessary to travel at all, we must make sure that we adhere to the health preventive measures against COVID-19. This means that those who are going to use public transport should wear their masks at all times, should wash their hands frequently, and should sanitize their hands with alcohol-based sanitizers. This is the only way that we can protect ourselves, is the only way that we can protect our families, is the only way that we can protect our communities, is the only way that we protect our country against COVID-19. It must be clear, COVID-19 is a deadly disease. It's a disease that has robbed our country already of productive members of society. Therefore, in everything that we do as Namibians, particularly during this holiday season, where people are going to travel from one part of the country to the other, let us comply with the measures, let us wear our masks correctly, let us, as far as feasible, practice social and physical distancing. Let us wash our hands and let us sanitize. We must avoid unnecessary crowds and big gatherings. Our country cannot afford to lose more lives. Our country cannot afford to see more and more people being hospitalized. If we are not careful and if we do not comply, our health system could become overwhelmed and will be unable to cope with the number of sick people that could be admitted in hospitals. So our appeal as the Ministry of Health and Social Services to the Namibian people is for us to comply with the measures that have been put in place. We as Namibians can join hands again to stand together and prevent the further spread and the impact of COVID-19 on our society. I wish you all a happy and enjoyable festive season in a manner that is safe, so that we protect ourselves and our families. I thank you very much.
Holidays, what a time. Just look. Hey, Daddy. Uh-oh, drama. Looks like drama lives here. Can someone bring some tissues? Ooh, steamy. The perfect face beat. Looks like this will end in hunger. Smells like progress. Whoopsie. Whatever you're festive, it's your moment with DSTV.
And this holiday season is about to be lit.
The Fish Rot 6, whose next court appearance has been postponed due to the lockdown restrictions, made headlines recently for being caught with phones in their cells.
Yes, I can confirm that indeed there were 2 cell phones that were found after a search was conducted at the cells that the Fish Rot accused are staying. This followed after we received information that one of these Fish Rot 6 accused were tweeting. And it was alleged that it was Mike Ngipunya. So what we did is we went and we conducted a search. And during the search, we found first 1 cell phone, 1 mobile phone with one of the accused. But after we went to look at the closed circuit camera, we then saw that one of the phones were thrown in the drain. Before our officers could come to that cell for the search. So we then went back and got the phone. So I want to make it categorically clear that the 2 phones were not found with Mike Ngipunya, who was suspected of tweeting. In fact, when we interviewed Mike Ngipunya, he confirmed that it was not his account and that somebody is using his name. His account on Twitter has a name, Tate Mike. The account which was tweeting had a name, Mike Ngipunya, and his face, his image on the account. We could also confirm that it's not his, because during the time when we were interviewing and searching, the account was being used during the same time. Yeah, so so I cannot mention any names of who was found with the phone, because at this stage, it is the issue is still under investigation.
Our inability to provide a decent living for all Namibians is having a devastating effect on the poorest of the poor in the country. In this clip, Khomas Governor Laura McLeod Kachirua addresses the community that gathered at the Khomas Regional Council to demand food.
Is right now we are at Khomas Regional Council headquarters. And I'm asking myself, where did you get the information that food is being distributed? Okay, thank you. All right, Membense. Now you got this information from NBC information center.
Yes, combat center. 4 o'clock.
Just hold on for me, Mami. Just hold on. Just hold on. Just please hold on for me. Now, here at Bomas Regional Council headquarters, all we do, if at all there is a donor that want to donate food to Bomas region, in order for us to control and coordinate the donations, we only receive the donation here. Are we together? We only receive the donation here. After we receive, I'm Laura McLeod Kashirwa. This is CRO Mafuila. This is the chairperson of the regional council. All the 3 of us are here with the intention to receive those donations. After we receive the donations, we give those donations to the constituencies. Are you hearing me? We have, listen to me. Let's listen to one another. Let's listen to, okay, let's listen to one another. We don't, comrade, we don't distribute food here because we don't have the list of beneficiaries. We don't register people. Can we listen to one another? Can you hear me? Can I read the story? No. Can I read the story? Can I read the story? Then can we listen to each other? What I'm saying is, hold on. Now, hold on.
We are hungry.
Can you just listen to me? That's why we are receiving your donations because we know people are hungry. Now, you can't just be quiet.
Let's listen. Don't stop me. The food was already handed over on the 23. The food was already handed over on the 23 to the country. It was on the 23. The food was already handed over on the 23. Yeah. The food was already handed over. And it's not all the councillors who get it. It's not all the councillors who get this food. Katutura is always left out. Katutura is always left out. Yeah. It's not all the councillors who get the food. Yeah. The handover was already on the 23. We are all the information. Give the people the food. Yeah. Even our councillor is not even involved. It's not government. It's not government food. It's not government food. It's from Here is the 23 days the program. On the 20 days, take the program. There was already handover. The food was already handover. Governor already handover. Okay, listen to her. Give the food to the people.
Hello. Let's do this. Hello. 1 minute. I don't expect that from you. The CDC member. Honestly. So what? Hello. Yeah. Hello, people, please.
Going out on the field, candidates going out on the field getting the news, must give it to Maggie and Kasela. Kasela is that they are working around. Now the people are getting angry here.
Now you are from Katutura.
Yeah, Katisira is.
Maybe you are from where?
Only quickly.
Is your daughter?
It's not my daughter. It's your daughter. We are not family. I want to say what I want to say. Don't ask my personal life. We are here, but I'm not here for come and say what I feel. Come and say what I'm feeling now here. You don't talk to me like my mom, but Governor, you cannot ask me my personal life. I don't even ask your child. I don't even your child. No, you cannot ask me my personal life. No, it's not your way. It's not your way. Also, tell me who's your kids. Tell me who's your daughter. Yeah, man. Okay, come back to you. What happened, Governor? I told you, don't too much. And you people don't listen to us. What happened in Katutura is very bad. We are witnesses. And the people come with you to come here for food. We see the food with our own eyes. The food is behind the office. The truck is there. The truck was busy to give the people. And you come, Mafila, come and say the bus must be stopped. The truck must go behind.
If there's anything 2020 has taught us, it's that supporting local is more important than ever. That's why Team Namibia invites you to support Namibian products whenever you can. Look out for the Buy Local Grow Namibia logo on your favorite items in-store and online. Because by supporting local, you show you care. Be Namibian, buy Namibian. Team Namibia, supporting local to grow Namibia. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Team Namibia. Earlier this year, community activist McKay Losper visited the Velvicha Junior Secondary School in Korigas and reported on the squalid conditions that learners endure there.
I made a visit to the Velvicha Junior Secondary School where I did some inspections of the school and of the hostel. So I came to the school and immediately upon arrival, as I was leaving the car, I spotted the matron. And I went to the matron and I told her, no, I wish to do some inspections of the hostel, first of all, because the initial plan was to go first to the hostel and then to the school. So then she said, no, that I need to take this matter up with the superintendent, a certain Mr. Liwanga. So she directed me to the class of Mr. Liwanga. So I left Mr. Liwanga's class, I went to the principal, and I made an appointment with the principal for the following day, because I also needed to do some inspections at the school. Fine. As I was leaving, the matrons, they stopped me, and then, as I'm an activist, they were addressing me and engaging with me on the various challenges that they are going through. And while I was having that conversation with the matrons and the cleaners and etc., the hostel superintendent came, and he said that, no, but the matron is here. I see you've already met the matron. Why don't you walk around with the matron? I told the hostel superintendent that, no, but I want to be with you. I want to walk around with you and take pictures while you in your presence. So subsequently, I went with the matron. We took some pictures. She was telling me all the issues that they were facing. Now, what happened was, what I picked up is that, first of all, the Velvicha Junior Secondary School is an inhuman environment. It's not a learning environment. Learners cannot be kept there. On a serious note, there is basically no operating toilets. On the side of the school, there are 10 classes which are not operational. So the knowledge that I got was that every class or each class takes 40 learners. So based on probability, 400 learners did not get space at school. And there are no operational toilets at school. In fact, the 2 toilets which are operational at the school are used by both the boys and the girls. It's actually a girls' toilet, but both the boys and the girls are actually making use of that toilet. And at the side of the hostel, it's totally, people can't stay there, basically. It's out of operation. In fact, I need the health inspectors to go there, and whatever inspectors that needs to go there to look into this. So I took some pictures. I discussed it with my communications officer, who said that, no, I think we can just put it on Facebook. So, which I did, I put it on Facebook. And a day or two later, the Executive Director of Education, Sanet Steenkamp, released a press statement that, gave some clarity into the matter. But, which was actually kind of like contradicting what I was saying, because the information that I got was that there was 100,000 that was given to the school for renovations in a form of materials. The money was paid into the account of the supplier.
McKay also alleged that there was some corruption at play in this situation and was also intimidated by a police officer after bringing this issue to light.
But now the other issue is that the school board member is a certain Mr. Eben Khwagup. He's actually the chairperson of the school board. Now what happened was the tender that was given, in terms of the renovation of the school, was given to Mr. Khwagup's wife's uncle. Okay, so which basically substitutes corruption. And so those were the issues that I raised, and which I did not get clarity on from the permanent secretary or the executive director. So when she wrote that letter, I immediately decided, okay, let me not first engage the executive director. Let me speak to the regional director, Ms. Angeline Janse. So I wrote her a letter and I said, okay, fine. This is the state of the school. The government doesn't have money, obviously. So I think let us partner and let us get the school in order. So I requested for a bill of quantity, which he refused, or which he was unable to give me because of certain procedures within the government or within the ministry. And then I said it's okay, because the reason why I was requesting for the bill of quantity is to help the government and assist the government not to procure the project in terms of pertaining to the renovations, so that we can get the quotations from different suppliers. We can get a contractor who is very cheap, by the way, so that the government can buy the materials and just pay the contractor as a labor fee and kind of a fees that the contractor is going to be charging. So, but I had requested for the bill of quantity in my capacity as managing director of Altaji Investment. So to make the process easier, to facilitate the process and to make it easier. So I had requested for the bill of quantity in my capacity as MD, to also personally from my side start engaging in activities of securing sponsorships for the school and etc. So she said she could not give me that, so I'm still to communicate with the executive director with regard to getting the bill of quantity. Now, after that, we actually left the whole situation, because the chief regional officer wanted also to open a case against me to say that no, I had